You're gonna see from the top.
Recording started.
All right. We is live, and y'all know what time we on, man. We is on dog time here at SirKennel. And in these interviews that we having going on over here, it's not to promote anything illegal. It's not to promote the sale of anything illegal. It's not for nothing illegal. We just talking about history of dogs, history of things, and just keeping the old history alive. Today, man, I got somebody quite special to me, man. I'm gonna leave it at that. We're gonna keep it about the dogs today, and we ain't gonna get into nothing but the dogs. And we're gonna interview a good friend of mine. Man, I like to call him my dog pops, man. His name is Chill, man. But we here to talk about your dad, man, LilJim, man. One of the greats, one of the ones I always love hearing stories about that I make you tell me over and over. But now we're gonna tell the world. We're gonna bring LilJim to light, man, because he was such a good OG. How you doing today, Chill?
Everything's going good, brother.
Oh man, that's good. That's good. I know how you are, so I ain't gonna drag it along. We're gonna get to these questions because I don't want you to end up hit me with the man. I'm done with this BS. Hey man, but I really appreciate it because I feel like uh, a lot of the OG stories need to be told, even though that they've turned these dogs into the black sheep of everything. I feel like people like your father's stories need to be told because everybody else's story needs to be told. And I'm on that. I love black dog, man. I love Mexican dog, man. Why? Because I feel like we might not have had all the advantages, but I could be wrong because I'm 39 years old. So, man, you can be here to check me on everything. And if you feel as though my questions are out of pocket at any time, please let me know to chill out or you don't like them or that's inappropriate or da 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 because it's your world. So I'm gonna start it off like this, Chill. Where and what year was your father born?
Mississippi, about 1935.
Mississippi. Okay, Lord John. Okay, OG Mississippi, 1935.
Yep.
I like that year. It's a few cars, but we on dog time, so I'm gonna I'm gonna keep it about the dogs. Hey, how old was Lord Jim? I'm gonna say your pops. I'm not gonna keep calling him by his first name because that's disrespectful. How old was your pops when he got into these dogs?
The pit bull is about 30.
Oh,
About 32, 33 actually.
oh, okay,
Somewhere
okay.
around 1967. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 1965. He was he had German shepherds. We had
Oh.
in 1967 when he got his first Curraz pit bull.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
He was a straight
Okay.
cur. He tried to get into dogs, and they sold him a white guy sold him a cur.
Oh well,
Black and white
he
dog named
started it.
Bojack.
He started at that time. So how long was he in the dogs before he retired?
He just retired. Really, just cleaned up his yard about maybe 7 years. No, about maybe 6 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, about
Oh, I'm
16.
pretty. I think your math wrong. It was about 7 or 8, but we gonna move forward. So my next question
Yeah,
is, what was your pop's favorite dog throughout his whole
it
time with
would
him,
be
if you
his
can remember?
it would be his first game dog he had. That was the lady dog, the lady dog,
Maiden?
lady Lady.
Oh, lady.
But
Oh,
we never. He was a stern guy, so he never really. Every dog was his favorite until they quit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Or until they died or something like that. We never we never got attached to our dogs. We they were always dogs to us.
So okay,
So,
well,
mhm.
speaking of lady, did he breed her or did he buy her?
No, he bought Lady for $300 and a pack of and 2 packs or carton of Pall Mall cigarettes.
Do y'all hear that, viewers? Y'all hear that, man? That's something for you. You remember around what year this was?
This was in 60 about 67, 68.
Mm. Okay, well, of course, in today's time, I know you have nothing to do. You know what I'm saying, with anything illegal with these dogs,
Nothing at
but
all.
but is your father's blood still around, or did he have a family of dogs that he created?
Yes, he had family dogs created, and a couple of them are still around and
Okay.
still handwritten pedigrees.
Oh, we gonna get into that.
We ain't
Okay,
gonna, we don't get
okay.
too much into it, but
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah. I understand. So, uh, my next question is, and we can take our time. Who did your father look up to in these dogs, old and young?
well, no, my father and okay, my father came in the door to get a fair shake. Him and oh my gosh, him and Bert Searles were practically partners. But my father didn't like the selling of the dogs. But Bert really helped my father get into the dogs, get the good dogs and everything. At that time, my father he had a cur dog named Bojack that he was winning matches with because he used to have beagles back in the day in Mississippi. And with them beagles, he knew to keep them in shape. So he was always working his Bojack dog. He knew Bojack was a cur, but Bojack was a hard biting son of a gun. So he knew when them guys came, white guys would come, you know what I'm saying, basically try to pick on him. Bojack was always in shape. So Bojack would hurt him real bad, and my Godfather actually won a little money off of him. He's my godfather, not my father. He's a friend of my dad's and a friend of my mother's, but he's not my blood father. He actually didn't have any sons. He only had five girls.
Oh man, okay, okay. That's good stuff, man. We loving it here, and again, I appreciate you, man, telling us. Well, I know you're super old school, right? But do you mind telling us how your dogs were bred, your dad's dogs were bred, and what traits he looked for?
Okay, when we my dogs this day, well, not all of my dogs, but my dogs from him all go back to Lady. That was the first dog he ever really first good dog he ever had. No, actually the first female he ever bred as well. Lady was a multi-time winner. Don't know how many times she won. And the guy who bought her, I actually met him about 30 years ago, and I saw him again about 4 or 5 years ago. He's dying of cancer. If he haven't died yet, he had cancer real bad. Last time I spoke to him, he bought Lady from a little kid at an ice cream truck
Yeah,
for like some ice cream, about $3 or $4. He bought Lady, and what he would do, he just raised Lady and a dark brindle dog, and he would fight her from time to time, and he fought her several times. Won a lot of money with Lady. So at the time, nobody knew how she was bred, and he didn't know how she was bred, and he really wasn't even a dog man. And my father always been a polite guy, respectable guy, and my godfather he was for some reason he took a liking to my father like everyone did, and
yeah.
he so guys was offering him $2,000 and $3,000. We talking about '60s, $2,000 and $3,000 for Lady.
In the '60s,
In the '60s, like '67,
man,
'68, like that. So he told, and my godfather, he had no money like that, but he had some. He's getting out the dogs, and he couldn't keep Lady anymore. He said, hey, you want to buy Lady? My father said, yeah. No, do you want to own Lady? And my father said, yeah, but I don't got that kind of money. He said, what can you come up with? My father told him, when this check come, I can give you $300. He said, give me $300 and a carton of Pall Malls
man,
cigarettes. So my godfather went to L.A. Well, he went down there Friday, but my godfather went Thursday. Gave him the money and went and got the dog, brought the dog back, and that was Lady. And when it came, and a couple of months out the blue, Lady had already been bred, and he asked the guy couldn't keep that dog no more because the puppy was tearing up everything. So the guy gave him to my father Will. The guy lived in Pomona, gave him to my godfather as well. So now my godfather had a son of Lady that was a year old and had Lady. So he bred Lady to Wallace's Bad Red. He got like four puppies off of that. No, five puppies. Three of them lived, and that would produce our champion Tugger. champion Lady Tugger, and Deacon and Deacon himself had picked up his championship. That was a yearling puppy he got, and that's where our yard started running from ever since then. We always going back to that stuff. And what my father looked for in a dog, basically, first off, he wanted smarts. All of our dogs are smart. I mean, we were never known for biting anyone down. They didn't bite nobody down. We were going to stay there forever. We were smart, and we can and we had real good win. Always had good win, and we were game. You know, let me see what else. Yeah, and he preferred the brindles. Our brindle colors, because we had so many of brindle dogs that something about that brindle and them blacks stood out amongst anything else.
So Mr. Jim, his favorite. Is it safe to say that his favorite trait was one smartness, two gameness, or two gameness? I mean, one gameness, two smartness.
Well, you got to be game. Game is number one. You can't be a dog man and doing anything but game. You know what I'm saying? But you also have to be smart too. Not
Okay.
too smart because they know to quit.
Well, let's jump around a little bit. You definitely just mentioned a list of dogs. You list Champion Tugger, you list Champion Lady Tugger, you list Champion Deacon. What was there more that you can remember? I know I got you going back years and stuff like that, but can you just give me a list of dogs that y'all one timers, two timers, champs, and whatnot?
I don't. We never really kept account. And I said champion Lady Tugger, but that was a lie. Lady Tugger was not a champion. She was a two-time winner.
Okay,
Tugger was a champion. Deacon was a champion. He lost his fourth
okay,
against his half brother.
okay,
Um, we had Razor champion. We had two champion Jeffs.
okay.
One champion that we made, and one champion we got as one as a two-time winner. The champion Jeffs. Um, that's who else? Let me see. Let me go through here. Years. Tebow Red champion. Um, Turbo Two champion. Tebow Red Turbo Two. Um, I know there's a couple of more
Yeah.
at least. Um,
Definitely could take your time because we got time. One thing about this YouTube world, we got time.
yeah. um, Super Nigga.
Okay. Who said
Yeah,
who?
Super Nigga. A Super Nigga.
Y'all named the dog that?
Well, his name was Super when he was given to us. We didn't breed him. His name was Super. He was given to us, but my godfather's wife, he was all black and he was right by their bedroom window, and he barked all the time. And he would go out there, and my godmother would tell him, "Shut that dog up. That it's like a nigga. Just shut him up." So
Wow.
when he picked up when he won his two time when he won his second match, it was for a nice little chunk of money back in the days. Brought him home, and at that time they were really really tapped. They were strapped for money.
Well, we're gonna get to that. Let me tell you something. We are going to break the internet. I'm gonna give you the real by me saying who you are to me. I've never heard that story. I have been on the internet chasing down dog videos a long time. A lot of content, and one time it came up an argument, and I was on that bandwagon of why do we chase these dogs like nigga Toby and da da da. So when you just said that, and it's been actual YouTube beefs about it, and white guys have been saying y'all shouldn't be tripping off of those. It's just a word. It's just a name. It's just a name of a dog. Some people like me are like, we shouldn't have those type of names of dogs. We shouldn't chase it. So for you to say that, and I've argued, people gonna be like, your own OG folks named the dog Super Nigga. So that's gonna break the internet.
Oh, okay. Well, for one, that was our name for the dog. Well, no one else's name for the dog. And I doubt if four people besides you know that dog name was Super Nigga.
So what was the dog name on
His,
record
his
on
his name
pedigree
was
and stuff
Super.
like that?
His name was
Super.
Super. Yeah, Super.
Ah, okay. You what? Did I probably mess up your concentration? Can you remember more?
About Super or
No, I mean,
about?
we could talk about them, or we could just talk about keep listening dolls. I still got a lot of questions.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, as far as champions, I can't really think of any more at the time.
Okay, okay. Well,
At the time.
can you remember your dad's favorite one or two? Not favorites, or we already know
Oh,
who his favorite dog. But can you think about a one or two timer that's worth talking about that y'all had back then?
um, well, anyone you want to name. We can talk about Super. We can talk about Deacon. Although honestly, I I was young, and
Okay.
I don't quite remember. I remember seeing Deacon, but I never walked Deacon. I never
I
handled Deacon
remember
or
a
anything.
story you told me once before that I
Okay.
like to get on here, and then we can get back to the questions.
All right.
And the story is, and I want you to
And
give
I
great
bet you it'd be the
detail and take your
same.
time, huh?
And I bet you it'd be the same.
Oh,
Because it was the
well,
truth.
you ain't never lied to me in all the time
Right.
I've known you. So my question is, let's tell the people the story about that certain litter that was stolen and ended up
Oh, okay.
around your people.
That's only one. That's only one litter. That was his name Roland Kincaid. He bred his champion princess to Bolio.
The Bolio,
The Bolio, yes.
not
Okay.
his son, not his cousin, his
Not his
nephew.
son, cousin, not no but him. Okay.
Okay.
But at the time, Roland Kincaid was a racist ass white man. And he at the same time, I mean not at the same time, but my sister was in high school and she was dating a guy who did some kind of work. I thought I was working on a roof or a fence or something, but maybe some mechanic work. I really don't know what. But Roland wouldn't pay him his money. So he went and stole that whole litter. Um, and I could tell you even the street Roland lived on a street called Tippecanoe. Right off of Tippecanoe rather. And they stole the whole litter from Roland. And they didn't know where to put the dog, so they brought the dog to our house. I was just a kid, but I had a backyard. So they brought the puppies to my house. But then my godfather, he happened to come by and told him I got puppies, all that stuff. I got litter of puppies and stuff. And through talking to Pat Patrick and them, he found out about that Princess litter being missing, and he knew the colors, and they told him the colors and everything. So my godfather, we had the puppies about 4 or 5 days, and my godfather had us give the dogs back. We didn't. Ain't my godfather ain't no dog thief or nothing. You know what I'm saying. So we gave the dogs back, and in turn, worked some deals out down the road and stuff like that. You know, but yeah, that was it.
So
Old story. But
I'm sorry, maybe I might have missed it because I'm over here smoking this. I'm smoking this good weed.
okay,
What did y'all do with the litter, y'all? Y'all kept the y'all? Were y'all able to keep some? Did y'all?
no,
How those
well,
dogs turn out? Can we get some more about the? Can we get everything about that story?
yeah, but he gave me one. Her name was Tweety. She ended up she was just like Champion Princess. She was a gray brindle, just like her mom, and she was a nutcase. When she got older, she would bite everything and stuff like that. It ended up another cur dog that we got because now we're starting to deal with Roland on a regular basis. He gave me another cur ass dog, and ended up getting her pregnant, and she got pregnant and messed. I was a young kid, didn't know how to chain her up and shit right, and she had two big old puppies in her. She had one, but the other one didn't come out and messed her up, so she could never have puppies again. And that puppy that Roland gave me, that dog that Roland, I'm sorry, the dog was a cur ass dog that Roland gave me, and that really messed up the relationship with my godfather and Roland Kincaid at that point because they knew it was a cur. I didn't know it was a cur. I really didn't know anything about dogs. I was just a kid, 8, 9 years old, I guess, somewhere around there. But the fact that he would give me a cur
Right,
for
it's
for
crazy.
the things that he had done, my father was real hurt by it. My godfather was hurt by it. You know, so Yeah, that's it. That's
Man,
uh,
that's a good one right there, man. YouTube's they're definitely gonna love that one. Let me ask you a question.
yes,
Why do
sir.
you think people didn't tell their pets back then? What's the real reason, in your opinion?
Well, see, back then, I mean, people was it wasn't nearly as many dogs as there are right now out there in the world. So, like, if somebody knew you had a bolio dog, man, shit, man. If I knew you had a bolio dog, I knew you was gonna come in biting hard. So I already knew I had to come in with something, or Lapase, bolio, Lapase, Eli Jr. Oh no, I'm sorry, not bolio. I'm sorry. If you had an Eli Jr. dog or a bolio dog, Lapase dog. If we knew you was coming, I knew that if I wasn't biting like you, I knew I had to dance. You know what I'm saying? So if I had a choice in my backyard, I would pick something like a Boleo dog or something like that. To instead, if I even if I had an Eli dog that wasn't that talented, I would use my Boleo dog the same way, who with less mouth, because I knew he was gonna stay out of trouble. We always, to this day, I feel, and I could be wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong, but I feel every good you can find more aces out of a Boleo dog than any other dog because they're smart and they can control their head. They keep people away. I know a lot of people won't believe me, but it's just almost impossible to stop a Boleo dog, a good Boleo dog, with mouth. It's just pretty much impossible. And I've had ear sucking dogs that after it was over, that you can take your dog, you can walk him, but at 2 hours, I mean 2 hours, man, of me sucking on that ear, man, your dog get complacent and don't want to do anything else but fight, stay there and fight. Although we aren't even hurting that dog. I mean, there's definitely no smart dogs. We really had some very very smart Boleo dogs. You know, I think did I get off course? Did I
Man,
get off course with you?
man, Bolio, Bolio, Bolio.
Yeah, yeah. He says it's bully. I mean, and if it was an Eli dog, you know what I mean. They had that mouth. But then back then we had a saying that is don't get it confused though. We did have a saying: if you can go 40 minutes with a Bolio dog, with a Eli Jr. dog, you can win the match. Just make it to the 40 minutes because we always say that a clock in the head. Now you can't say that it's a natural born fact. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
we were comfortable, and I mean, and we've been beat by Eli dogs in 2 hours too. But back then it was being so comfortable. If we can be living at the 40-minute mark, we can start spending that money. That's what we always thought, and the odds were with us on that. You know what I'm saying? The odds were with us on that, but not saying I mean you can't totally say it's true.
Mhm.
But the odds are in our favor if we can go 40 minutes. You ever bring a Bolio dog into us and we go 40 minutes, we can start spending our money. You know.
Yeah,
So
man. I
and
got.
I know a lot of people ain't gonna like it, you know what I'm saying? But and like I say, it ain't a fact, but it was something we was happy about. If we can make that mark.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be scratching all
Yeah,
into us in these
yeah.
comments once this drops. I got my
And I
next question
understand.
for you is what was it like watching your father be a dog man back in those days? Dealing with racism and things like that.
Oh man, racism was bad, man. We never we always handwrote our pedigrees. Oh, you asked me another question first. I'm gonna ask that question first.
Go ahead. Go
My
ahead.
my father, he loved Ozzie Stevens. Him and Ozzie would get together, talk on the phone for hours. That time was $1 a minute, whatever. I mean, he had such a great relationship with Ozzie Stevens. He really looked up to Ozzie Stevens. He made a bet with me one time. Grab a journal and every page you look into, he wanted to do this. Every page you look into, when you see if you don't see Ozzie name, I'm gonna give you a quarter every page. But when you see his name, give me a nickel. Yeah, when you see me, no, hold it. Yeah, every page is not every time you don't every page you don't see him on, give me a quarter. Every time you do see him, give me a nickel. We went to like 3 journals, man. I ended up owing him like 30 cents because Ozzy was very, very busy,
Yeah.
and we always wanted to be busy like that, but
Yeah.
we couldn't do it. Now, as far as and that's an older guy, but a young guy, my father looked up to. I don't know if I can say his name. Kind of think about it. A young guy. I'm gonna say it. Little Frank. Name was Little Frank. Um, my father would look at him and just smile when he see him, man. Like he's a dog, man. He's a dog, man. We would talk about him a lot. Little Frank. I ain't gonna say his full name, none of that stuff though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, my father had so much admiration for that guy. And another guy, Buffalo Soldier.
Okay. Okay.
Man, we did a lot of swapping dogs with Buffalo Soldier and swapping dogs with Ozzie Stevens. And he had he had he always said Buffalo Soldier was as game as they can come. When the game is, my father didn't curse or nothing, but he said that's the game is dog, man. He know it's Buffalo Soldier, and he always like I said, those three, what I mean. Besides Pat Patrick, Bert Sorrells, what I mean. Those guys who really wasn't around us, who my father put them in my head. Those
Hmm.
guys. Yeah. And your other question was, uh, I went back to that one.
Oh, before you answer that question, I got a question that just popped up in my head. Um, Back then, um, what races did you see here and in Mexico in these dogs? Black. Obviously,
White,
we know white men. Obviously, we
yeah,
know
white.
black men. Obviously, we know Mexican men. But was there a lot of Indian? Was there any Indian? Was there any Asian? Was there any Native African? Or was it just mostly American, white, black, and Mexican?
Well, it was when you talking about years ago. When I thought
Yes, of course, years
it was
ago.
basically white, and we wasn't going to Mexico that much then. It was basically white people. You see, but in my neighborhood alone, we had an Asian guy, we had a Mexican guy, and me, and we were all in a quarter miles square that was getting busy with the dogs. You know, Black, white, well, Asian, Mexican, and black.
Okay.
Just in my neighborhood. I'm talking about I could jog to each one of their houses in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
So that question was, what was it like watching your father being a dog man back in those days, dealing with racism?
It was rough because we would go to matches and we would destroy the dog, whatever, and my father, though he had to tune out all the stuff that was going on. And then there's one match we went to where they wanted to buy the dog. We've only sold 2 dogs in our lives, and one dog in Arizona, we had to sell him because we wouldn't have left without him, and we wouldn't have left with him anyway. And what no Mexicans trying to get him was the white guys they were gonna rob us and take him anyway. So my father sold him, and I didn't understand why until years later. And especially he had me with him. I was a kid, and like I say, he's not my real father. He's my mother's and father's friend.
Right.
You know, so he couldn't get no spat with me there. Being at a illegal thing with from dogs and some racism. I mean, I remember leaving shows where we know we got the best of show, and they give it to someone else, and my father
Right.
would just say, "That's okay. We got the money. We got the trophy that count. We got the money,
Right.
and just go." Um, the stuff they would say, that the way they would treat us, but my father was a honorable, very honorable guy,
Yeah.
and although they didn't like him, they re- they respected him, and they learned to love him. I mean, how is it? I'm going into somebody with our dog, and he's refereeing the match.
Right.
He's refereeing the match, and I'm handling the dog. He's refereeing it,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they knew he was a square dude,
Yeah.
but they still give him. I mean, they would sell him a curry until he got the chance before. That's why we don't buy dogs either. We haven't bought a dog since he bought Lady. He never bought another dog, and bought Lady in like '68, maybe
Right.
1968. Never bought another dog. Always bought breedings because he said them white boys ain't gonna say you. Them white boys ain't gonna say you nothing. What they think is gonna be a champion. Why would they sell it to you?
Yes.
So
I've
we
heard a
always
lot of.
bought breedings.
I got a chance to meet. I got a chance to meet Mr. Whitley at Tom
Mr.
Garner's.
Whitley.
I got a chance to meet him at Tom Garner's pig picking, and he sat down with me for quite a while, and we got some talking in, and he stood on exactly what you just said. Do you know how old your father was when he got his first match, or went? No, when he went into his first match. When he went to his first match.
I would have to do the math. I'm thinking about 67 with BoJack, so that would be like 32.
Okay.
We don't know.
Okay.
Okay, BoJack was never matched. He was always taken off the chain. Although BoJack was worked,
Hmm.
he was always taken off the chain. So I would say somewhere around 70 with Deacon Deacon and Tugger, all them dogs. I would say 69, 68, 69, maybe something like that.
Any notable dogs that everybody know the names of? Any notable dogs that your dad bred or went into?
No, he went into. We, oh man, that's a good one there. We lost to. Oh man, I really can't even say offhand.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Okay.
know, I know we lost a few notable dogs. Um, but I mean, notable to who would know him, and see, my godfather was he had political aspirations, and he's deep in the church,
Okay.
so we've always done private shows, always private. So we it was rare we did a convention,
And
you
so
know.
did he? I heard you say he buys breeding. So did he buy any did he make breed to any of these notable dogs that we know today?
He bred to Mayday, directly to Mayday. We bred to um some what notable dog besides Mayday? Wallace's Bad Red.
Mm,
Um, Teal's Jeff.
okay.
I think it was Teal's Jeff or a son of Teal's Jeff. Um, I don't. The Bingo. I went to look
Hmm.
at the pedigree, so I think Bailey's Bingo. I think,
Okay.
and from that stuff, we always we kept our stuff and bred amongst ourselves, and we bred to a couple of dogs, the buffaloes. So we bred to okay. We bred to Charlie Boy, the
Mm,
undefeated. We
okay.
bred to that's Charlie Boy 1 and 2.
Oh,
Um uh,
I know those dogs turned out good.
yeah, um Castillo's Troll,
Damn.
Stonewall.
Oh yeah.
Who's on Stonewall? What's the guy name on Stonewall? Roca Stonewall.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, I think that'd be maybe about it.
Okay. Well, did your dad prefer shows in the U.S. or did he prefer shows in Mexico?
Well, once we stopped popping in Mexico, we prefer going to Mexico because getting caught in Mexico wasn't nothing. We get caught there a couple of times. All they do, everybody give the federales $20 a piece, and they
Yeah.
roll on off in the yonder. So
Yeah.
yeah, we
And
we
they
prefer
tell you
going
see you
there.
next week.
Right, right.
Okay. That makes all the sense in the world. Did you feel as though mentors were important back then in these dogs, or do you feel as though somebody could have been successful, all by themselves and just learning from trial and error?
No, because if you didn't have a mentor, you couldn't get in the game.
Mm, okay, okay. It wasn't no popping up with dogs, huh?
Oh no, heck no. Like I said, once again, it was hard to get a dog. Man, it wasn't just selling dogs, man. Who you know? I'm just gonna sell you my dog. Although the money is still the same, but if you wasn't around somebody, knew somebody, they weren't gonna sell you no dog.
Man, I wish, I wish, man, I wish I could experience those days, man. Y'all have the best, literally the best stories, man. What's the furthest distance that your father traveled for a show with his dogs? Like, how far would
Mississippi.
he go out?
Mississippi was the farthest we ever went.
From where?
From California to Mississippi.
How long did that take? Can we talk about that? What was that drive like? Did y'all have any bad experiences? Any hiccups? Like, what was that like?
Well, to be honest, we left there. It took us 5 days. No, no, I'm sorry. I'm saying us. I didn't go. It took him 5 days to get there. I mean, it took him 5 days for the match. He left that Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in high school then, so that was in 1983.
Mm-hmm.
And he left Monday. Him and my god brother, those two went,
Dang. So
and
did he
that's the
have any stories?
farthest
So
they ever went.
obviously, huh?
And that's the farthest they ever went. I already talked about that.
Oh man,
Hmm.
yeah. Okay. Do you remember your father's hardest match that he won and the hardest match that he lost?
The hardest match that he won um, that I know of would be, um, I guess it would be, I guess it would be one I handled. I was it was in 1984. I was going to a kennel that I'm not gonna say their name. I had well, the hardest match would be would be my first match. I handled did everything myself. That would be the hardest one. But this one here was 1984.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was in I just joined the Marine Corps, and I got out at boot camp in September, and they was already working the dog September to go. And I was stationed at Camp Pendleton, so I
Mm-hmm.
was driving back and forth almost, not every day, but an hour and a half back and forth to help condition a dog. And the dog had no mouth at all. His name was H. Armstrong, and we went to a dog that I saw kill a dog the year before. This was H's second one, and it was H's second match, so I told my godfather, I said, "Hey, you know who we going into? We going into blah blah dog. That dog, that dog killed that dog in like 20 minutes or 20 something minutes, or whatever." And my godfather said, because he's a chess dog, and we're gonna be on the head. And he said, Willie, oh, he said my name. He said that head is gonna be way on the other side of the pit. I mean, that chest gonna be way on the other side of the pit. I ain't worrying about that. Let's get this son of a gun in shape. And at the right off the bat, that dog changed his whole style up, and we got his head, and he grabbed our leg and broke it at the 6 minute mark. On a broke leg, we went 2 hours and I think 17 to 18 minutes before we finally picked him up. And that dog never really messed the chest up, but he tore our dog's legs up. We saw him go to the chest and kill before.
Mm,
So, and we lost that one.
mm.
And the one we won, um, the hardest one to win, we was with Deacon.
Mm-hmm.
It was like an hour or something, and we had Deacon was down, going into his half brother, pushing a pound and a half or a pound, something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
Deacon was down and out, and the dog had Deacon in his testicles,
Mm.
and Deacon he did all he could. He did all he could. He just couldn't do nothing. And when I think like an hour and 40, my father. Now this is a story I was told,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there? So he said, at an hour and 40, he said if Deacon would make the scratch, he gonna he gonna pick him up. And Deacon scratched over there, and I get I'm thinking a 10-second or 15-second count or whatever. I don't remember. And he as soon as he grabbed hold, the guy said 10 or 15, but the scratch was completed, and my godfather picked him up. I think that'd be the hardest match because they were battling. That's what been a crazy match, and they were supposed to be doing a lot of battling that match. I don't know, I wasn't there, but to hear people talk about it, a few guys telling about. It, I remember oh man, a couple of guys talking about when I was younger. A dude named J Bad talking about it. Um, Mr. Lee talking about it. All of them talking
Mm-hmm.
about it. They were all there, and they 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 made money off Deacon scratching alone. They say he should have never made his third scratch. They scratched like maybe 12, 13 times. They said at the third scratch he should have never made another one. But they made money off his scratches more than the match was.
Man,
Yeah.
man, oh man, I think I know the answer to this next question, but I gotta try. Do you remember your father's standing record?
No.
If you
We,
shot from the hip, if you shot from the hip.
no, I have no idea. I wouldn't have no idea. I know I could tell you we won 13 straight, but I'd say we're doing from 70 when I came in from 75 to say 83, we're doing maybe 7 a year, 7 matches a year, I would say roughly 7 matches a year. The one time we did 13 straight and won all 13 straight in a row. Um,
Nice.
and then kind of slowed down after that. Then we would pick up, do 3 or 4, then we stop. A couple of years don't do none. Then a couple of years do about 4 or 5. So no, I can say a record. That's 7 times 10. That's 70. And I would say we would lose maybe a third of them. I would say we would lose. You know, I really can't say. I remember a few times going the whole year without winning, without losing any. I remember
Mm-hmm.
going losing 5 in a row.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, let me ask you this, honestly, man. How do you feel about the state of the dogs today, being that they can't be matched and they only can be used for legal hunting and confirmation shows?
Well, I think that's good for the breed itself
Uh huh.
because if you if they say they're only for fighting, then they're gonna be eliminated.
Yeah.
I like those those these have the treadmill races. I,
Yeah.
I like the weight pulls.
Yeah.
Because now we can see that these dogs are good for more than just fighting. You know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
think
Oh.
about it. If they take that stuff away and they see you with a pit bull and an axle on it, first thing they gonna say is you fighting dogs.
Well, I feel like they say you fight dogs even if you just have them. But that's a segue to a really controversial question. You know, by you being knowing these dogs for so long and raising to these dogs and things of that nature, how do you feel about these dogs being used for protection work? How do you think your dad would have thought about these dogs being used for protection work?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest again. We were never on the pit bull that bite people. We were never on the pit bull that bite people. But on the same note again, if you had that pit bull, and he's trained correctly he's trained right for protection, then he would, and a good guard, everything, then that would be another benefit for the pit bull, community in itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like confirmation shows. I'm totally into it. As you know, I like the hog hunting. I'm into it. I was against protection work using these dogs, um, and the sale of them. Now I'm just solely against people doing it with them and selling them and not having any accountability. I actually think it's good. I think it's a good look for the breed. So I definitely agree with you, man. Do you remember? Do you remember what's the reason your pops lost his first match?
No, I don't. Well, okay, I would actually would think it was Deacon because that time he
Okay.
only had Deacon. Like I said, the cur
Okay.
dog he had before,
Right.
he knew it was a cur and everything,
Yeah.
and it was always off the chain. They would come and grab him off the chain, but although he was working him, they didn't know it,
Hmm.
but they knew he was a cur. So
Okay.
they said, we ain't gonna beat that arm off cur Jim's, you know, for $100, whatever. But I would say Deacon because that was the first dog he had. He got him when he was like a year old. So I would say Deacon's loss would be the first loss.
Yeah.
That's how
Do
they
you?
get to the championship.
Yeah. That's fire. That's right. Do you remember any matches he refed? Any famous matches that he might have been the ref of anything like that?
Going like Barney had a sister that he matched her. He refereed her match. That
Hmm.
was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Um, See, we didn't like I said, my godfather he had these political aspects. I mean,
Yeah.
aspects, and he didn't want to be in the sporting journals, all that stuff.
And
He
that was my next segue to my next
yeah,
question was how,
yeah.
how did he feel about the Sporting Dog Journal?
Well, he looked at it, but he never submitted his matches.
So he did. So he definitely supported it. He bought them.
Yeah,
He looked at them. He just
yeah,
knew what he had going on. He couldn't report his stuff in it.
right, right. And when they asked you not to report it as well,
And he would ask you, and if he was going to somebody and they're like, man, hey, I'm reporting it, whether you want or not, would he still go into him?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, shit, it is what it is. But a lot of times, I mean, he didn't want it, he didn't do it himself, but you still can't. I mean, 'cause then, I mean, how can you? What happened if I tell you don't put my name in it and you do it anyway? What am I going to do?
Right.
You know,
Right.
but just please don't. But if you do, I understand. And we didn't mind our losses, especially our losses. We didn't because my father he was you know don't forget that he was in the church and everything, but before he joined the church, he was in the street.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, so like he didn't mind people knowing about his losses.
Right.
He didn't mind knowing about his losses and and keep his and, you know and keep his wins a secret. He didn't care about that. And he always said the dogs can't read anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Was he into the Gamecocks at all?
He liked them, but we went to saw like two of them go. That was it. He thought it was nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked them too. But no, we didn't really. And I'm kind of into the Cox right now. Even now, I go watch them every now and then.
Yeah.
But I don't have any. But I like watching them.
Right, right, right. So man, this been a real this been a real great interview. Is there any stories or any old rumors or about pets, anything that you can think of that you want to tell the people?
What about pins?
I mean, everybody say that this dog isn't bred this that way, and that person lied about this breed. It's all type of rumors about, all the guys from back in the day.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna feed off in that shit because I don't know.
Exactly.
You know, everybody lie about this and that.
Who cares?
They always said, well, one of the biggest things they always said Mayfield stuff was and Red Boy stuff was the same or
Uh-huh.
some shit like that. I never really cared. We were always kind of I was always been an arrogant kind of person, and my father helped nurture that into me. I don't care about how guys talk about pedigrees now. I
Uh-huh.
never talked about pedigrees because
Mm-hmm.
it was never your dog's pedigree was never my business.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, when my father lived, we could never. Okay, I'll tell you a story about a pedigree. Actually, on
Mm-hmm.
pedigrees,
Mm-hmm.
we had just run like 13 in a row. That's time we won 13 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Greenwood was at a show, and and me and him, me and my godfather walking by, and everybody spoke and everything, and it said Mr. Greenwood called us back. He said, "Hey, little Jim." So they turn around and we start walking back over there to him, like seven white guys. And he said, "Man, these guys are." He said, "You ask him. He's right here. Ask him how his dogs are bred. I told you he don't send his pets in to he don't send his pets in because we handwrite our own pets.
Right.
My godfather always said, I don't need them to tell me. I don't need them to tell me how my dogs are bred and put them on a pretty piece of paper. I believe you put them on this paper.
Yeah.
You know." And since we didn't sell dogs, we found no reason to ever register a dog. You know, so
Yeah.
so my godfather looked at him and started laughing, and we just walked away. Which I really didn't understand what it was and what they were talking about. Like I said, I was young, but we talked about it later on, over and over again. Some of the war stories, that was a funny thing to us. So I kind of remember that. You know, but yeah,
Yeah.
so. But back then, man, it was hell on wheels back then.
Mm-hmm.
You had guys stealing dogs like crazy, and if
Mm-hmm.
they and my father said if they know how my dogs like I don't ask about nobody's pedigree, but if they know how my dogs are bred, then they can always steal them
Yeah.
because the way my father's backyard was, it was open to the city pretty much. I mean, the back was wide open,
Mm-hmm.
so they can come up there and steal any dog they wanted to.
Yeah.
But if they didn't know how they were bred, it was kind of, it would be hesitant about stealing them, although they didn't know where he lived anyway. But if they happened to know where he lived, you know what I mean? So we always kept our pets under wraps. We never told nobody our pets, and we never asked people how their pets are. And to this day, I still don't. I see go online, people posting their pets and everything, and I'm like, wow, okay, you know. Your pedigree, a dog's pedigree, is not even worth anything to me until I want to breed to it. If I ain't trying to breed to your dog, your pedigree means nothing to me.
Man. What were y'all feeding back in those days? What type of feeding regimens and stuff did you?
Stater Brothers, we use Purina Dog Chow and Stater Brothers generic dog food. We would mix them together.
Yeah, no raw meats and stuff.
Oh, you mean for keeps?
No, I mean, just just period. I
Oh,
guess.
oh no. We would get Purina Dog Chow, and then we would get Stater Brothers brand dog food. They had a generic brown paper bag, and we mix them together, and that was our dog food. And when we went to a keep, we would change up to different feeds for keeps and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Uh huh.
man. You know, this has been amazing, man. I definitely appreciate you. I definitely sitting down, man, and giving YouTube a look into your pop's life, man. It was definitely a pleasure, man.
Well, thank you, man. I hope it didn't bore you too much.
Man,
Mhm.
I can talk about these dogs all day, every day, man. I love them, man. I really love them, and I want you to love them too, man. And I want everybody to know everything we talked about, man, wasn't to encourage anything. It wasn't to
Oh no.
promote anything. It's just to talk about some history, and I feel as though there's some people that haven't been talked about and people don't know about, and I want to bring them to light, and I don't see nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? I
Yeah, just
thank everybody for listening. Please like this, man, and share. And hey, is any closing remarks, anything you want to say to the world about these dogs and anything like that?
Well, just pray for my father, man. My godfather, he has dementia now, and he's barely getting around and stuff. So no dogs. I haven't spoke to him in a year, and when I do talk to him, he talk about the same dog stories. Some of them he think I was at, I wasn't at. Some of them he didn't know I was at, that I was there. Um, Damn. On that note, I wish could think of something that last time we talked about I would share with y'all, but he still talk about the dogs, although he can't do nothing with them at all. He can't do anything really. He's
Yeah.
locked in the house and stuff like that. But yeah, you know he's
Well,
game.
he's definitely been a blessing to these dogs. He was a
Yeah.
blessing to you. You've been a blessing to me, man. Shout out to YouTube, man. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and share. And we out of here. Just
All
remember,
right.
man, we on dog time.